talking. We ain't playing over here at LFG. Haters gonna say, we from LFG, boys. We take you to the moon.
Hey, hello, and welcome, fam. Welcome back to this would be episode 3 of Mission Control, right?
Yep, episode
That's
3.
right. So you got your host, myself, Aneeda, and Cynister. So welcome. We have a dope-ass episode coming. Well, it's already here. So who are we? We are LFG. What do? We are a full-service foundry of companies for companies looking to launch their projects to the next level. You can find us at our let me start again. You can find us at our website, lfg.inc, or you can join our Discord. All our links in the description box below. Now, before we start, y'all, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because I'm seeing 6. Let's get them up there. And other than that, let's get started. We have our guests from MetaFlora today. So I'll pass it over to you, Cynister.
That's it. So MetaFlora's mission is to revolutionize the cannabis industry by creating a transparent, decentralized ecosystem that connects businesses, farms, home growers, and consumers through digital innovation. And the ecosystem offers a variety of solutions that support transparency, community involvement, and collaboration across the recreational and wellness sectors. And by combining blockchain technology with real world applications, MetaFlora aims to reshape how cannabis is cultivated, distributed, and consumed, ensuring trust and accountability every step of the way. And today with us, good Paul, please and thank you. We have Crypto, we have Gingerbread Man, Rocket Unit, we have Zwado, and the man himself, ChairBandit. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. All right. Rocket Unit's still having some issues with his background. Oh, there he goes. He fixed it. All right. So how you guys doing today?
Doing excellent, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm super excited about your guys' project. Not just because of the...
tell us about it.
Let me tell you all about your own project here for a second. No, I love the idea of utilizing blockchain technology in this way, and not just for the marijuana industry, but for any sort of agricultural purposes in general. I think that, I mean, what's a good way to put it? So I like gardening, right? And sometimes you go to order certain seeds, you don't really know what you're going to get, and to be able to go and follow that chain of custody, so to speak, all the way down to the manufacturer is just a fantastic idea. And I think especially in the weed industry, since there's so basically everything is both types of weed, and just being able to determine the differences between those, like Leafly, for example, I think it's fantastic what they're doing, and I think you guys can really build on top of that in a meaningful manner.
We agree. Yeah, we agree. The way that we can even track these genetics back to the source is right away we're looking at a solution to an industry problem, if you will. I was just speaking to some people that are non-Web3 related, and they were upfront with me. I'm not Web3 related, but this, that, and the other thing. And they started going through our project and was just kind of ticking all the boxes all the way down the line, being like, man, this has solutions not just to the people in the industry, but home growers, really establishing a connoisseurship. But even further, it's going to be helping explain a lot of these things towards people that don't have that know-how. He even mentioned the politics behind cannabis, and bridging medical benefits into a new pharmaceutical aspect of everything. Because with all these strain names and everything like this, it's really hard for your mind to kind of triangulate all this information into, all right, this is good for this and this is good for this. So how do we simplify the cannabis industry?
Oh, dude, it's impossible.
That's really, that's not the answer. The answer is not to simplify it in that aspect. We don't need just 3 terms to define what cannabis is. indica, sativas, and hybrids are almost a classification of the past. And now that we're getting a lot more knowledgeable about this sphere of influence, now we really need to have a platform like this that we're building, because we can really define every single strain and every single lineage from then on. And the filters that you can apply to the search engine really gets to the bottom of all that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. So like I said, I like gardening. I personally don't smoke weed all that much, but I do enjoy gardening. I like growing it. So I grow it, and then I harvest it all, dry it, cure it, all that good stuff. And then I just give it out to friends. I'm like, here you go. But in doing so, I go and get, Girl Scout cookies strain, for example, and I plant the seeds, or I get a clone and I plant that. And multiple times now it's grown out. And then when I go to harvest it, I'm like, this looks nothing like what it's supposed to look like. I don't think I actually have this strain. And there's no way for me to verify that information. I'm just like, yeah, I think it's Girl Scout cookies and it should do this, this, and this. But I don't really know.
That's exactly right. And if you do actually know, then we kind of open up a broader border to that access and to build those building blocks down the line. It's great what we have right now. I mean, there's over 8,000 strains in our database. We have, over almost 2,000 test results. We have all these articles and guides. But what really it is it's only day one now. Like the industry's barely even started. And so we have so much to build on top of from now on. And we're going to really see a lot of this take shape down the line here. But to go back to what you were saying, even with regular gardening, I mean, there's over 10,000 known varieties of tomatoes.
Right. Yeah.
So, and again, it's the source of those seeds and where you're getting it from and what you really actually want to plant in your garden and stuff like this. And we can build a whole community around it and, introduce some of this socialify aspects into things too.
Yeah. I have a physical example of this actually. So grapes, there's tons of different varieties of grapes. There's a very specific type of grape called a sapphire grape. They call them like witch's fingers or something like that. And they're like this elongated shape. And I'm like, that looks amazing. I want to order some seeds and grow it. And then I find out that it's patented and someone owns the copyright or something to that effect for it. But I found it online and I ordered these seeds. And I have these seeds. So I could plant them. I have no idea what this actually is. I would have to plant this and wait a couple years to determine what this actually is. And just being able to utilize technology like what you guys are building and determine I bought this, I know exactly where it came from and exactly what it is, saves me 2 years just on that one little packet of seeds.
Right. And like you were mentioning on the topic of grapes, we also get into the regions on which it was grown. So one, you have your strain that you've chosen, but now you also have the actual dirt and the environment that it's grown in. So a certificate of origin is going to play out to be really huge across all industries. We're going to see it firsthand through the cannabis platform, but as soon as that's built out and we have this infrastructure and this template to go off of, now we can start introducing the larger ecosystem and many more industries on top.
Yeah, and it's huge for weed too. I mean, it isn't. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but isn't pretty much every type of weed nowadays technically a hybrid? There's no such thing as a sativa or an indica nowadays. Everything is parts of both. Right.
You would have to go back into the original genetics, right. But and we also have dominance on top of that. But you know what? There's people in the industry now that don't really even consider this the right type of classification, because when you really dive into it, it's more on like a genome level. So we're looking at more of a molecular difference between all these plants, and we can't really utilize that 3-category system much anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as far as I know, sativas are longer and lankier. Indicas are more stubby and bushy. That's about as far as I understand that process.
Yeah.
So on a molecular level, that's a whole other thing that you guys are doing that just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's something that's also really cool is the platform that we've designed has so much data behind it. And we have an AI model that is meant to gather this data and make it easy to process. And we also have all these guides and recipes for things. So as a grower, it's extremely useful because you could know like the exact growing conditions you need to do in order to replicate a success for a certain strain.
Right. Yeah. There may be one that grows perfectly in California where I'm at, and then there's others that I'm like, oh, I really want that, but there's no way that's going to grow properly here. I need to do something special for it.
100%.
Yeah, and the AI assistant will be able to, guide you through that process, and also be able to kind of infer you to other strains that are of similar types or maybe grow better in your region and have the same effects.
What kind of information do you guys gather, if you don't mind kind of elaborating on that a bit more?
Yeah, so the lab reports are really in depth. We have a partner that really goes like way into detail on their lab reports, and we're really thankful for them. We're actually going to release an article about them pretty soon here, because it's really important to be able to replicate these grows that they do. So we have strain data that we scrape from Leafly and another open source cannabis database, and then we have lab reports that we also scrape from the internet, but we also have partners that give us lab reports, and then recipes we scrape from the internet.
Recipes,
guides, guides we scraped from the internet, but we just kind of we scraped the information, but then tailored it and rewrote it in different article series, so that you have a more impactful experience with the guide process. And it's actually in order too, so it's like starts at a beginner process to a more expert level of understanding.
Okay, that actually leads me into my next. So it sounds like you've got a knowledge base. So like if I'm a normie, I'm just like, I don't know anything about any of this. I just want to grow some weed because I think it's fun. I see all this information from a laboratory. How do I, differentiate between, like, how do I process that information?
Right. So we have the original lab report PDFs that are linked on there, and that has a more detailed breakdown. However, we have AI behind the scenes that actually it puts a layer on the lab report so that it's really easy to understand. Every single thing is clickable. So if you don't know what a certain chemical component is, or what a certain meaning of a word even means, you literally click on it and it expands and it shows you the description of it. And at the top of the lab report pages, it also gives you an AI summarization of what's significant about the lab report. So if a certain lab report was hydroponically grown, and certain conditions that are maybe exemplary, or even something that you should caution, like if it has a lot of microbacteria and things that are found in the lab report, you can deduce if it's safe for consumption in certain modalities.
Interesting. Would you say all lab reports are created equal, or is there a big varying degree between one and another? Or are there certain criteria that all of them hit?
I'm not the expert. I'm just the guy that makes it on the screen.
So I would say there that no, there's definitely a huge gap between test results. So for one, there is a minimum requirement of testing, and then certain labs will be able to offer different layers that cost extra to get more in-depth information from. So this almost incentivizes companies to go a bit more in depth, right? Because when you're looking at a connoisseurship, and you're looking at, especially if you have a new genetic coming out, you want to actually produce as much information as possible, and that way the database has the direct representation of it in its full form. And then also transparencies for companies that are producing these test results and everything like this. So I believe that there's a larger incentive there to provide more and more information. And the labs, all of them test different. They have different strategies on testing, and some of them are being shut down. Some of them are being more prevalent, and that's what's the benefit of the AI as well, is we'll be able to kind of see these different laboratories working, and eventually we'll have some sort of a hierarchy on knowing trusted laboratories that are on par and having a good reputation.
Interesting. Okay. So I was actually playing with your platform a bit previously, and let's say again, I'm a normie. I know THC, I know CBD. What are all these other things that I'm seeing here? There's so many different cannabinoids.
So we literally designed this page specifically for those questions immediately. And you're not alone. There's people that are really in depth in the industry, and they still need a tool like this. So as your test result comes in, or you're checking out different products or your favorite strain, we like Gingerbread was saying, the AI gives you that entire summary, and it even breaks down per test result in that summary those live results based on those compounds and what it actually does for you. But like your question is asking, it's, well, what does THCV even do?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I'm looking like what is CBG, CBN, CBGA? Like, I have no idea what these things do. I assume that
they're all new to me too.
There's a lot.
Exactly, and you don't even realize it until companies start saying, okay, well, let's do CBG extractions, and we'll start doing CBG gummies, and then all of a sudden, all the attention goes towards that one compound for its benefits because it's starting to get hold on the shelves and stuff like this. However, we're not seeing many plants or many products coming out with THCV, which is it's a compound in there that actually suppresses your appetite. So everyone thinks cannabis is all about the munchies, but there's ways that we can steer these extracts into doing something that is more beneficial for us, right? Not everybody is looking to eat all the time, and maybe medicinally they need to have something that's counteracting that.
Right, it's like an organic Ozempic. I don't know how Ozempic works,
but if you take a look there, we see like a lot of these compounds are very minute. They're less prevalent. Like, there's no strains out there that really produce high levels. They're like they're like trace compounds in there. But if we can start categorizing all the highest rated results that are coming back from those minute compounds, we'll be able to start crossbreeding those and do selective breeding processes in order to start checking those up. And now our extractions get better. And now it's something that we can actually use inside product lines, because that's one of the things. If we're extracting it and it's not, economical or it's not efficient, they're probably not going to end up in as many products in the end. It's going to be more of a niche thing where you're only attracting a small population to a small product line.
I love that. Cross-pollinating and breeding new plants is something that's always been something I'm very interested in. And I think that's a fantastic idea. Like THCV, if I want to get that, I can go find the two top strains and try to breed those together. And I could personally work on that. And that's something that I would not be able to do on my own. But if I have access to a platform like what you guys are building, that makes it incredibly easy for just a random gardener like me to start playing with and experimenting in this industry.
Yeah, exactly. We also want to make it much easier for people to get started if they haven't done it previously. So like on our marketplace, we want to have, grow kits that go with guides and seeds that, go with the grow kits. So we know exactly what strain you're growing in and, what the light schedule should be, the water amount, soil type, all these kind of things.
I would love that.
Yeah, so, I don't know about you.
Knowledge base for stuff like that?
Wait, what was that?
Yeah, are you going to have like a knowledge base for stuff like that?
Yeah, we have it on the platform.
Oh, you already do. All right, well, there you go.
Yeah, so that's the guides. It's like kind of all separate right now, but we're adding the marketplace, and then we're going to add the it's like a classroom. We haven't decided on a name or anything, but it's all designed really well by our guys over there.
So would I be correct in stating that what you guys are building is essentially a one-stop shop for all cannabis informational needs for users, growers, businessmen, just across the board.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
also is meant to connect all of them together. So customers can connect with retailers, and growers can connect with retailers, and it's just a
now
kind of a big.
that's interesting. Yeah, so I live in California. We've got weed stores all over the place. That would be a very interesting idea if I go. If I'm going to use Girl Scout cookies again for an example. But say I go and get Girl Scout cookies and it says it's going to do this, this, and this for me, and then I partake in it and it doesn't do that. I could potentially figure out that store is selling a different breed of plant and disguising it as Girl Scout cookies because it's a popular brand name that they think will sell better.
Yeah, and if it's sold through our store, you'll have a review attached to that genetic line specifically. So if you don't have the results that's expected, you have a review, and then people see that as like this specific strain now has new updated information. And
could you go into the store aspect?
Yeah. What about it?
Just tell me what's it about. What's the game plan there?
So it's kind of a multi-purpose Web3 and real world products all in one, and we have a few partners. I mean, I know Greg, maybe you should go into the marketplace items.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like
So
what the range of stuff should be, could be on there.
Sorry if that's a really broad question, but I'm legitimately interested, so I want to learn about this.
Yes. So I mean, it's a broad question, and we have a pretty broad marketplace because we're going to be right. Because we want to incorporate all aspects of the industry. So we are looking at global CBD distribution and seeds, and this is going to be all tailored to like your region and your local laws, what have you. But I believe what we'll be looking at for our first phase of the rollout for THC products will be a store finder for you. So if you're going through the database, you're checking out what your favorite strains are, maybe a friend recommended something, there's some hype on Instagram, you're checking it out on the MetaFlora platform, you'll be able to check the store finder on every single strain, see what's the closest to you. The AI will even go through those test results and try to match up the most common strain that's similar to the one that you're looking for if there's nothing nearby, and that way you can try out new strains that are right around your flavor profile.
Interesting.
But yeah, that takes care of your basic product lines from from your CBDs and your THCs, and then we're looking into lifestyle products, outdoorsy things, and textiles, clothing, backpacks, this sort of thing is another aspect of the marketplace there. And we're looking at more of the industry as well, because we're looking into things that you can utilize in your home, inside of your garden, like nutrients. I think Gingerbread touched on it before about home grow kits. So this is going to come in from our industry partners, and we're going to have a full-scale marketplace from a grow store to a dispensary shop. We'll have it all right there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that.
So I've always failed to grow.
Yeah. Let's go ahead, Paul. I think I know which one. Yeah, there you go. So how do you determine strains?
Yeah, so these lab results are being onboarded. Well, the first phase got onboarded through a scrape of the internet. So everything that was publicly available. Yeah, you want to take it? Sure.
Yeah. So I basically scraped the internet using Leafly and a couple other public open source databases. So that's for the strain data, and I also have like a background database that has, it's like 8,000 more strains than what we have live on the website. And it's like we don't have enough data to release those, so I'm just kind of keeping them, and we can collect data over time. But we have just about the same amount of strains as Leafly. We actually scraped from Leafly because that's also a public source for strain data. Same thing with lab reports. We have it's just a couple public open source databases, and then we have our partners that we also filled with those lab reports.
Yeah, to touch on the DNA printing, this is compatible with our platform, and we have different tiers of how we look at the verification and the transparency of each strain. And so once we match up the genetic fingerprinting to that strain, we'll have that'll be like its highest level. That's something where you'd be able to match strains down the line. You'll have to be visiting your local laboratory to see if they offer this. It's being offered more and more, like we were discussing previously in the conversation here, that every lab is different. The amount of in-depth that you want to go into these on either the laboratory or how far you're willing to go towards the testing round. So we have this compatibility built in there. You are going to be able to see this on the platform as we go through it. I think that this is really important, especially when you're buying seeds and you're looking for a phenotype. So Gelato's got 7 different phenotypes, and they're all marketed on the shelf under different names. And so if you wanted to pop a seed like this, you'd want to get these fingerprinting done as well and have it match up to the right phenotype. That way you can go ahead and produce the plants that you really actually want to, or cut those clones and et cetera.
Interesting. So I feel like I've been talking a good bit. Aneeda, do you have any questions?
I do. Have you guys? Okay, so I'm going to tell my story. I've been smoking a lot of weed for a very long time, and I've been going to the dispensaries since they opened here in Alberta. Now, I've had such a hard time trying to find anything again in any of the dispensaries here in the city. Like, I'll find one really good cartridge and I'll be like, oh my God, I need to buy more. They're sold out everywhere and I'll never find them again. Is that something that is going to help from what you guys do?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, if you have a brand loyalty that you're looking for, then the store finder is definitely something that you're going to be wanting to
That would be
use.
so ideal.
Yeah, but what would be nice though is, let's say that company is on there and they're sharing what their ingredients are within that pen. Perhaps you'd be able to find something very similar, because I know what you're saying. Like, when you go in, you find something that you finally like, you can't find it anymore, and you're like, well, what's the next best here, and there's not really a clear way to see that from the shelf. You would need to have a really good bud tender that knew their products to be able to kind of like steer you in the right direction. And I believe that's what our AI will be able to accomplish.
That's awesome, because I hate to say it, but most of the dispensaries here, most people go in and they're like, I need something that just fucks me up. And they don't get any other information, right? And so, like, that doesn't even help anyone. So this database that you guys are creating, I think it's wonderful. Like, this technology can be applied to so many other avenues in life and be beneficial too. So you guys are doing great. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, this can be also used for the farmers, because imagine if you have a product which is well accepted by clients, then the competitors can see that. And because they see that, hey, this strain is really successful, let's do the same. But without the MetaFlora database and this data, they wouldn't know about this. So they wouldn't even go this direction.
That's right.
Absolutely. So back to what Chair was saying, is it actually true that there isn't any pure sativas and indicas anymore? Because, like, again, back to the dispensary, I'm looking through, and when you put your search filters on, you get like 3 of each, and then everything else, it doesn't list what it is anymore, and it doesn't tell you what's in it. They're just like, hey, it tastes like strawberries. And you're like,
It tastes like strawberries.
great.
Well, I think it's a more of a generalization that we've crossed so many strains right now. I mean, we have close to 10,000 strains, and we barely have what's all out there. All your favorite ones are going to be there. But the industry is literally like, oh, just right now, yeah, another strain just got crossed, you know. So, but a lot of it, if you want to find a true sativa, we're looking at land races. So we have to go back to the origin of where cannabis originated on this earth and where we found it before cultivators started doing all their crosses. So if you can kind of get back to the beginning on where it is, and there's vaults, there's seed banks around that specifically carry landrace strains, so you can start from the beginning and start crossing things back into genetic lineage.
I love that. So let's talk about nodes. I think that's a pretty big thing we all want to talk about. What is powering all of this?
Yeah, so the node network will actually be powering kind of everything, like the entire infrastructure for the platform, the website, marketplace. We have, obviously, we can't store all the data on chain, but the data that's publicly accessible and not behind user authentication, things like that, can definitely be put on GalaChain, or any chain, really. Whatever works and is scalable. We've chosen GalaChain, and I think it'll fare really well.
What kind of information are you looking to put on chain versus not on chain?
Right. So we want to put all the strain, lab reports, and lineage, like the seed bank lineage. We want to put, I suppose, just basic product metadata. That's just locked in for certain versions of things. Things that are going to be immutable. Yeah, so we have an ultimate list, but really we're going to tackle it as we get to it. We have lab reports and strains, the logic for it. It's all worked out on our test net. So we have delved into that, but we're focusing on the minimum viable product. So we need to get the marketplace live. That's next, and hopefully at the end of this month, if all goes well.
Excellent.
And we're deploying a new authentication service, which will have a more broader reach, so we can spread out one authentication session on multiple subdomains. We also have the marketplace, which operates via API, so other people could list our products on their websites if they wanted to, all under their own referral code, things like that.
Interesting.
We're working on. So, if you had an account and wanted to resell to your network or whatever you wanted to, you can send them a referral code and get, some of those benefits. And obviously the node network powers all of this, so they get a more grand percentage just by default of everything that goes down on the platform in the Flora token.
Beautiful. So what are the connoisseur nodes, if I'm not mistaken, is what they're called?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I get a connoisseur node. I'm supporting the project. What do the tokenomics kind of look like, if you want to go into that a little bit?
Rocket?
Okay.
Token master?
So tokenomics, we designed it in a way that we want to have regressive decreasing over time. So obviously in the beginning is the highest, and then over, let's say over 10 years, you should be on a 95% of issuance. And there is also some other checkpoints, like the curve is 35 in, or 30% in 1 year, 50% in the followed year. And we are planning to, or we are in the middle of planning actually, to think how we will approach to the a network launch, because we understand that if we would launch right now as soon as possible, we would just create a lot of concentrated people with a lot of tokens. So we're thinking about some softening time, but we are not really decided if and how long. So this is also part of our discussions, because we want to definitely offer people some fairness and bring them like a real use case. So if they would be operating nodes, it should not be only like, hey, let's operate node and let's just take our tokens and that's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
If you rely on-
Speaking of the token, how's that plan to be utilized within the MetaFlora network?
Oh, that's
So-
very, very good.
Oh, many ways. On the platform basis, you can use the token to submit data to us.
Oh,
And
okay.
if that data is used, obviously that's another value exchange. If it's useful on the user behalf, because everything is being tracked. If you visit a page, you're logged in, it's all credit for your user. Doesn't matter really like how long you were on certain pages or where you went. It just all tallies it up on your total time spent on the website, and where you visited and what knowledge you have, and it's going to reward you in the future based on that. But we're tracking everything on that regard so that we can give value to the people that value us and our services. And it goes the same way for it's a publicly submitted database that has our review process. So if people wanted to write articles or make recipes or submit lab reports and be able to make a new strain or something like that, that's how the system is designed. And obviously the marketplace will have payable products in Flora, at least portion, maybe discounts. So we don't know how that math is going to work out, but
Sure.
we
Yeah.
want to make sure that
Just if I can jump into
is-
this, like we made with Greg like a pretty cool document for like a burn estimation for 10 years when we for like extrapolating this data we needed to note it down all the sectors, right? So if I would just note those down, there are definitely like eShop burns, which Jesse mentioned, but there are also some additional ones. Like if I don't know, did we mention already the NFC stickers and QR codes?
no.
Okay, so there are like some, there is more fun, but we have several more things in a MetaFlora which would need to be, let's say, buy as a services if you are a producer or if you are a service provider or advisor or you're doing business in cannabis like somehow. So the MetaFlora token would be the payment method where obviously it's not about just burning the 100% of what the client will spend, but a portion of it, and that's what we still have in progress, would be burned in a form of buyback. So like they would
Okay.
go through our platform and instantly every payment would go to our treasury, but first some percentage would be put in a market buyback and instant burn. So this way the nodes are being recorded back. So if we have the tokenomics issuance, let's say prediction for 10 years that 95% will be issued, that's probably not true because
Right. That's 10 years assuming no burns whatsoever. It doesn't
Yeah,
actually. Yeah, right. It doesn't involve the actual usage of the network and burning of the tokens, which I think is a fantastic idea because so many projects do these, like 5-year tokenomics distribution structures, but they don't burn anything. The only burns you get are people sending things accidentally to the wrong address. So by burning tokens when they're used, you actually get that cyclical distribution schedule that goes out even further than anticipated.
And now let's jump into one thing you will definitely like. We were talking already before that you like these like local cannabis stores or events or whatever.
Yes, that's probably going to be my next question, unless you answer it right
like
now.
I can really dive deep into this because this is like one of my most favorite thing as a CMO, right? Then imagine if you would have like a local community, maybe town, maybe city, maybe like several cities around, and there is a businessman who want to build community around his business and about his strains or whatever he do with the cannabis. And if you are as a user on a MetaFlora, you have a profile and you want to get in touch in your local cannabis culture, then we want to like you connect with those producers or those events organizers or whatever is there and you are interested in. And these let's say, businesses may be interested in using MetaFlora exactly for this purpose. So
Right.
there will be like some monthly fee or one payment fee or whatever. And again, they, instead of advertising on billboards or whatever like this, they can target the people who are really interested in connecting with them on MetaFlora platform. So if we will be broad on the social media, attracting all of the people who are interested in cannabis and cannabis culture, then they can also find whatever building activities and community activities on our platform and can be locally included.
Interesting. So if I heard that correctly, you could potentially sell advertising space by burning tokens.
Yep.
I love that. Next question is referrals. What kind of referral systems do you have? Say I go to a local weed shop and I say, hey, you guys aren't on MetaFlora. I want to get you on MetaFlora because that's what I use. And I refer them to go and join up on the platform and put all their products, and they contact their growers and the growers join. Do I get anything for bringing them to the platform?
Yes, definitely. It's just not put on a paper yet. We're just talking
Okay.
with Greg about that. We won't provide people with flyers and, let's say, some things which would be strategic. But until now, because this is not like a priority right now this month, then we're keeping it just in a form of idea. The
Sure.
only referral system we have right now is for nodes, where if you would recommend some people, you may get some percentage from recommendation.
Oh yeah. So refer your friends. Buy a MetaFlora node. Refer all your friends. Get them to buy one.
To go
Grow
deeper
this node
also
network.
into the nodes and the software behind them. So it's also connected to another project MetaFlora is working on, which is Elysium.
Ooh,
I don't know,
okay.
Greg, did you want us to go into this a little bit on how that
Yeah, I
comes
mean,
about?
yeah, we can go into it.
Oh,
I mean, it's
some
it's
alpha?
something too that we're going to be seeing into the marketplace as well. What
Yo,
we're looking
talk
at
about
doing
this
is
land you
introducing.
picked up an eternity ago. Tell us about this land. It's beautiful.
Yeah, man. So it's just a shade under 120 acres. It's on a local landmark right in the heart of Nevada County in California. It's about an hour from Lake Tahoe, 40 minutes from Sacramento, 2 hours from the Bay. Beautiful location, right by the Yuba River. This is gold country. It's where the first golden nuggets were found in California that triggered the gold rush. So it's a beautiful historical town, great culture there, but and it's very, very well known for prestigious top shelf cannabis. We have some of the best breeders in the entire state. We've been known for some of the best cannabis in the state for quite some years now. And now that the recreational industry is really taking a foothold, what this area specifically is looking at is like a certified origin, because we do have a standard there of high quality cannabis, and it starts with micro growers. These aren't large corporations mass producing, but people that are specialized in the craft, and it really shows in the final product. So this is a perfect location to launch something with MetaFlora, because these farms, including ours, is going to be something that's a pinnacle in the industry, and can really launch a large-scale certificate of origin for other micro farm communities as well.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds like I could go do all my research on the MetaFlora site, get some seeds from the marketplace, grow those, crossbreed them, create my own strain, send that off to a lab, get that on MetaFlora, and then sell my seeds on the marketplace.
Yeah, and
That's
also
right.
earn off the data that you contributed.
Compared to currently, so that's game plan A. Game plan B is grow it myself, don't really know what I'm doing, and then walk around a bunch of weed shops with clones trying to sell it to them first person.
Yeah, right.
I think game plan A sounds a lot easier for someone who wants to get into the craft.
Right. Right. So even further with Elysium, you can expect to see some real world assets in the marketplace. There, we'll be using MetaFlora from everything from the cultivations there to ticketed events. We'll have a lot of perks for MetaFlora node run operators. And yeah, we're going to do it all there from decentralized cannabis cups where you'll be able to vote using the Flora token, or some aspect of MetaFlora, to a bud and breakfast, to conferences, live music events, you name it. This property is going to cover it all. We're really looking at tying in a community towards a brand, and marketing this on a global scale. California, we haven't hit it yet because the laws haven't applied it to it yet about exporting cannabis to the world.
Right.
But they say, I mean, ChairBandit, that we have a oversaturation in the market where there's just so much being produced at the legal level. But the argument is here is if we were to able to go domestically shipping products, we would run out within a couple weeks to a couple months.
100%. Yeah. I mean, this is
that's
the
just
microbrewery of cannabis.
Right. Exactly. And we already have this a firm foundation on the name of California origin. So if we start shipping out internationally, now we're looking at a huge market share being demanded from a California origin farm or a California origin brand.
I mean, they already do that with it already exists in the wine industry. It has for hundreds of years. I see no reason why it shouldn't in the cannabis industry as well, especially California. Not biased.
I would say if you're looking to own a vineyard in Napa Valley, this is the cannabis equivalent of Nevada County, and it's about an hour away from Napa Valley. We have a very good climate for growing there. Yes.
I'm gonna have to drive up there one of those days. I think I'm probably about 5 hours away, maybe, give or take. I think I can make that drive and check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe we can do a live stream one of these days.
Oh, you should.
Oh, that sounds dope.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I like it.
Can you talk about this bud and breakfast? I saw you mention that. I've never heard that before.
It's his dream.
It's exactly what you think it is.
Sounds amazing. We'll have to fly Aneeda for that. I'm sure she'll enjoy it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, what we're looking at is like the first phase of it being more of like a glamping or a high-end campground with all the amenities, rustic farmhouse chic type of deal. And then we'll be building out in the later stages, actual cabins and houses that you'll be able to rent and have some culinary experiences there, a true farm to fork. There'll be agricultural endeavors there that will be able to feed everybody that's there, and really have an interaction with organic gardening, nature, and proper ways to be growing cannabis.
Oh man, I love that.
And you said
That sounds like a great time.
You said you made friends with the local winery also.
So we have a 350, 400 acre vineyard across the street. So if you're driving down the road, we're right off the highway, first of all. So, which is crazy because in California, you don't go to a weed farm right off the highway, right?
Nope.
You go a couple hours and
you're out in the boonies,
dirt road, And so we have
like moonshining
location. You'll be coming down the road, and you can either take a left and go into the vineyard, or take a right and go to the weedery. It's right across the street from each other. We're on a local landmark, Pilot Peak, and so when you get to the top where we're building the Welcome Center, you're looking over a 400 acre vineyard, and it's owned by one of the largest producers of wine in California. They grow a lot of grapes there, and then we'll have there's this area where there's like a peninsula plateau area, and you'll have views of both the vineyard and the cannabis garden all in one view.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which you have to take a walking trail down. We'll have a rotating art walk that goes through the trails. some pop out areas where you can pull over and medicate as you will. When these things also have to kind of unfold on a legal atmosphere too, as we're following along with the new laws that they're establishing in California, and having micro businesses, go farm to retail straight from their event space, which is very exciting news coming up here.
Oh, I love that, dude. Let's see if we got any questions over here. I have not been paying attention to YouTube, so I apologize if you posted a question. Sorry.
It's okay. I was paying attention to YouTube. I got you.
All right, Aneeda, go for it.
So, well, for the most part, most of the questions have been answered. But there is one from sorry, that wasn't Even Wave. That was from Subspace. DNA fingerprinting. That was actually
I think we already got that one.
Yeah, we did. So pretty much.
Oh, we're doing great.
Good. But Cynister was actually asking about like the bajillions. Let me just find this again. Like a bajillion strains of cannabinoids. And I was being told that there's CBN, and that's good for sleep. Is that correct? Now, do you know if any of this is legal in Canada? Because like everything you guys are doing sounds amazing. As you guys already know, I'm a huge fan, huge fan, have been since I met Tripto. So I feel like a fangirl and I'm like losing words, Like your project just sounds amazing, and I can't wait for this weedery to open. Like I'll be flying there, first one out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, CBN is great for sleep. You probably would look for that inside of gummies or something like this as an edible. I mean, obviously you'll probably find it in pens as well. But when you're searching for some of these more minute compounds and you want something specifically for an ailment, then you're looking at different types of extracts that can provide that for you.
Interesting. And sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask, do you know when like your time frame to hit international is?
She's Canadian. She's very interesting.
I'm very Canadian. Yeah. So like I need you guys to come to Canada.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we're definitely working on. Navigating an area like Canada is definitely on our radar. I've been making a lot of connections with some of the top players in Canada. I have quite a long list that I'm going through here, and you'll see a lot more on the horizon, especially with the Canadian influence, for sure.
I feel like Canada's probably the easiest one to break into as far as international goes would be U.S. to Canada.
And you know what's good about Canada too is they provide 70% of the cannabis to Europe. So if you're looking at medicinal cannabis in these European areas, a lot of it is being originated from the Canadian source because they have the export laws for it.
Sounds like we need export laws in California.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Hopefully.
Or maybe not.
We will see.
Greg,
if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in California.
Did anybody from Canada fly in for those events that you went to months ago? Did you meet any of those connections?
Yes, the UK, when I was at Cannabis Europa, I think that was some of the standout people that I had talked to. They, from distribution to cultivators, you name it. But very nicely enough, I've been actually contacted a lot through Twitter or through X. A lot of people who are documenting their legal grows and are stand out in the cannabis community that speak very, very highly of what's going on in Canada and activists in Canada on the cannabis front. And will see we have a podcast being released very, very soon We're not going to be announcing the host as of tonight. You're going to just have to stay tuned to MetaFlora social channels, hop into our Discord. But we have some very amazing guests that are going to be scheduled throughout the next couple months here. And you're all going to get really blown away of some really amazing content, really amazing people. And here's a little hint for you, Aneeda. There are some people that originate from Canada as well that you may or may not know. But we'll shed some light on what's going on over there as well.
Nice.
Excellent.
I am so excited, you guys.
And
You guys have
if
been
you
so
follow,
thorough.
oh sorry, and if you follow
Go ahead.
anybody,
No.
yeah, if you follow anybody that is in the industry and you want to see them like on an interview on the podcast with us, then by all means, like anybody, like give us their handle and we'll reach out and see if we can book them.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
Where
if you
is
want to give them
the
up.
best spot to reach out to you guys for the community?
Probably Discord. We're really active on Discord.
What's your Discord link if you want to throw it out there? Well, we got a couple minutes left, so I figure we kind of give you guys the floor and
It's
let you
in
kind of.
the description box below, I believe.
Oh, he's way ahead of you. He's way ahead
Oh
of
yeah.
you. He sees the future. He knows.
Good, Paul. He knows everything. So yeah, we got a couple minutes left. I want to just kind of give you guys the floor, reiterate, consolidate, what MetaFlora is doing, why people should support you, why it's amazing. All right. Thank you, good Paul.
Tripta, you want to take over?
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you were cutting to Mark.
Okay, then,
Yes, first of all, thank you everybody for tuning in. And thank you, LFG, for hosting us on here. This is going to be an absolute amazing ride we have ahead of us. If you guys head over to our platform and see what's already built already, you're very, very early. Now's the time to get in on your nodes. Flora token is right around the corner. And that access to deploying this node is right around the corner. Our MVP is almost done. And yeah, let's grow together, guys. Let's fucking grow.
We're working hard.
Let's
Full
fucking
throttle.
grow.
Let's fucking grow, LFG.
Full throttle.
They're amazing.
Thanks for being on, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Oh my God. I love these guys and I love their project so much. Like I am losing words and I don't even know what to say because I'm like, I just want it deployed. I want to see how they change the world. And I've been excited forever. The guys are super thorough. So we didn't have a whole lot of questions. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I can't hear you.
Great. Thank you, good Paul. I was trying to talk the entire time. But yeah, for everyone watching, if y'all ever thought that the blockchain industry and the entirety of Web3 are incredibly confusing and complicated, apparently, for a normie like me that's just coming into this, the cannabis industry is the same. And MetaFlora is driving the cannabis industry to true transparency, to cut down on all the noise, and to make it absolutely easier for everyone in the industry to interact with absolutely everything. That means consumers, that means home growers, that means farmers, that means big businesses. And their platform as of now houses, I believe, around 1,000 articles, guides, and everything else in between about everything you want to know about cannabis, how to grow it, how to work it, what all of the complicated strains, cannabinoids, and just everything else in between. So do make sure to check out their platform. We have their link pinned in the description. And these guys are truly doing something that needs to be done. And personally, if this is not a good application of blockchain, I don't know what is. And if you're out there in a similar industry that's struggling with the same issues, do reach out to us and we can start hashing out a plan on how to work through this together. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe.
Absolutely. And before we go, guys, merch. It
Right.
came in. I'm going to show you guys something new each week that I brought in. So, well, that was sent to me. So I'll wear something cool each week. Make sure you visit our merch store. And I believe we have the links in the description box below. Yes, perfect. All right, don't forget, like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next week. Or sorry, in 2 weeks. Bye.